And these clamp it down. These 2 screws clamp right here. And that is what you, then once the liner's put in, you can pour your resin in here and start printing. It looked like the other person that had this had a stand that I guess was 3D printed, and I have it. And it's got a screw that it's got a little mount on the top of it. You can set this in so this drains, okay? I'm gonna have to fix it. One of my children broke the screw off the top of it that moves this up and down. So long story short, I noticed that when they were using it in the past, I was just, I didn't know a lot about the machine. I knew the guy that owned it, but I didn't know how many times they'd used it or anything else. So just doing a little inspection on it, I noticed that, I don't know if you can see that dent right there, okay? And so when you drop something and dent this side was machine flat. This was a piece of machined aluminum, and then it looks like it's been anodized, or it looks like anodized. It raised a burr here, and it's been dropped more than once because there's a tiny burr here. So when they hit it on the corner, it pushed up a little sharp edge. Really a big one here. So I am going to take a file. I know it'll remove the anodized and you'll be able to see the aluminum, but that's okay, because this needs to sit flat on here. That way, just eliminate any headaches. So let's make this as easy a process as we can. And I'm going to try to come up with a standard process. So if I or my kids use this, we can just go step 1, we print the part. Step 2, we do X, Y, and Z to make it as just smooth and silky smooth as possible of a process. That way everybody does the same thing. If we don't make any excessive messes with that resin and we don't get it all over us, because it can irritate your skin. Disclaimer, I didn't invent this. This is my first experience with it, but I'm told you should wear gloves, safety glasses, and if the fumes bother you, probably want to wear a mask if you're around it in an enclosed area. I'm not going to be using this probably in my office unless the fumes are nothing. Even then, I'll probably open the window. And so, should use this in an open area, and you should wear a mask, safety glasses, definitely gloves. You don't want to get on your skin. Now, the guy that I know that used this, he did not use all those precautions, and he said it didn't bother him, but I'm going to wear gloves because I don't want to get this on me and have a skin irritation or a problem. There again, like I said, avoid headaches. Let's make it fun. Okay, I'm gonna set this down. Now, let's see here. I can go ahead and put this together. So basically, let me get my bearings here. Okay. The tiny screws, these are bigger. The liner screws, you put a liner in here and you basically poke the screw through it and tighten the screws, and that sandwiches the liner between these 2 pieces of metal, okay? And then the larger screws go in from the other side and you bolt it to the bottom of the vat, and it captures the liner right here. So this becomes a sealed surface where you can pour the resin in. That's all it is. It's pretty brilliant the way they did this. It's real simple. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna pause this for a minute, and I am going to get the liners and come back and we'll keep going. I hope you're enjoying the video. Like I said, this is a new channel. We've got some really fun things coming. More dirt bike projects, most likely. Maybe an autocross car. We're building a CNC machine, a CNC mill. It's 3-axis. We have a CNC router, a Shapeoko. It's an XL. It's probably 2 or 3 years old. It's not the current one that they have. They changed the models after I got mine. But lots of fun projects coming up. So like I said, if you like this kind of thing, if you enjoy woodworking projects, welding, CNC machining, Fusion 360, Autodesk videos, setting up tool paths, designing projects. I mean, a little bit of everything for everybody. So we like sci-fi. As you can see, there's a Star Wars helmet right there. We will probably do some cool props in the future for the kids for like Halloween costumes. I don't have little kids anymore. I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. So the older they get, in my world, that's like dirt bikes, cars. We do kind of projects I enjoyed when I was a kid, their age. So, but anyway, we'll be right back. All right, guys. We're back. I found my release film. I had one piece, so it worked out. So I'm just looking at the directions on this, to be quite honest with you. This is really straightforward. Okay, and it says remove the 10 screws. This is disassembly. I've already done that. I've already disassembled all the screws out of the two steel gaskets. It says put a new FEP film in between the two steel gaskets. Fasten the 24 screws again and make sure the film is not too tight. Cut off the extra edges before you install the gasket back in the resin tank. And make sure the film is clean and no scratches. Okay, looks like I'm gonna need more of that. So, I noticed that this has this cover. It's just a film. It's not the film itself, because you can tell it's sandwiched in between those. And it is much, what am I trying to say? It's thicker than the little covers on the outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and get down to the film itself. And as you can see, that's all it is. I can't imagine you'd leave those covers on there. If you're supposed to, we'll know when it happens, right? If you can't be the winner, be the outcome. So, that's what a guy used to tell me about racing. It was always the joke. All right, so let's see here. Okay. I'm gonna pop the little screws in, and then when those are all in, I'm just gonna I've got a hobby knife. I'm gonna trim it to fit the edges and then screw it back into the bottom of the vat. And I think I can file this without affecting any of that. So let's do this. Be right back, guys. Let's see. Be right back. Okay, guys, really quickly, I just wanted to show you, these are the little screws right here. The film is right there, and you can see the hole as it lines up. You can see it there right there. There's holes in all these, and basically we're going to sandwich the film between these two metal halves, and then we're going to put these screws in, trim the edges, and then reinstall it back in the vat. So let's check it out. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so let's see here. I'm gonna line these up. Piece of cake, they said. Let's see. And I'm gonna have to poke a hole in that. That is not wanting to start, I don't think. Maybe. Okay, they made a liar out of me. I pushed the screw down and you could kind of feel it go through the clear material. So everything has still got excess material around the edges that we can trim off. Make sure you line all that up before you get started. Once you put a hole in it, you just have to get another film. Another liner insert to go in there. FEP film. Let's go across the way here. You can hear it kind of go through a little bit. And it does kind of start like they say it will. I watched a little video on YouTube, and sure enough, it's kind of how it's working out. You can kind of hear it. I'm not going to make noises for you guys, but it does make a little noise. Kind of like a tearing piece of plastic, or kind of as it's pushing through the fibers of the plastic. Okay. Love to know what kind of projects you guys are doing. You know, if you're into 3D printing or motorsports or, you know, we used to do robotics club, and we actually, our local team won the region, and then that was right before, that was right when COVID hit. So the national first robotics in that year was canceled because they didn't know, you know, how everything was going to go, and they were afraid people would get sick, that kind of thing. So I kind of understand there was some new territory to cover there, but the club has fired back up. But my kids are into other things now. So honestly, they're into sports, and which is great. I think that's great for kids. And cars. They're into cars too. My youngest is into dirt bikes, and he's kind of fallen out of love with it. He's just kind of, you know, ready for something different. Which I was surprised because he was so heavy into it. But if any of you guys are doing autocross or into Miatas or competing a car in autocross, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. That's something we're looking into doing, and I haven't done that before. I've had some friends that have done that, and we're looking at some Miatas. We're trying to find something, you know, the current environment has raised the prices on cars quite a bit, so we're trying to find a good project car. Sorry guys, this is taking a minute. And that being said, we're trying to find something that we can be a fixer-upper. We have the capability to do a lot of the repair work here. I don't have a lift, but I have a lot of tools, and I have quite a bit of experience working on cars. So all the suspension stuff and that sort of thing is something we'll probably try to do ourselves. You know, coilovers, stuff like that. But anyway, what I was saying is if you guys race Miatas or autocross one, I'd love to hear about it. Man, we will eventually get all these screws in there. If this leaks, I'm going to throw it away and buy another one off eBay. Or Amazon, actually. I found them on there. It's like, I'll put some links in the comments. I think it was $37. Don't quote me on that. I think it was 37 bucks for 2 vats with liners. And it even had a little cover that went over the top of the vat, so you could put the cover on and leave it in the machine, or leave it, you know, on a shelf, etc., I guess. And you didn't have to pour it back out. You could leave the resin in there. And that was something that piqued my interest, because we will probably run a lot of the same resin once we find something general purpose that's tough enough for the things. Like, we 3D print some things that are out in the sun, little pieces and parts for our Jeep, and the PLA, man, it got so hot in the Jeep in the summertime that it actually sagged. It like tried to not melt. It did kind of melt, but it actually was a speaker grill for a sound bar. It's in one of my videos on this channel, and we're gonna have to remake that. I ordered ABS plastic to print with on that Ender 3, a spool of that, and I bought an enclosure that zips up. We were going to make an enclosure, but we're so crunched for time. They were pretty cheap on Amazon. I'll put a link to it. And we're just going to zip it up in that to raise the ambient temperature. And we're going to try printing those grills out of ABS and see. I think it'll withstand the higher temperatures better inside the Jeep. So that is my hope anyway. Bunch of these, good grief. Okay. Yep. This is an interesting little piece, man. This whole thing. Very simple. I'll have to go around and double check the tightness on all these. I did not wrench them all down. What time is it? Let's see. Let's see here. All right, getting closer. Finished tightening all these down and inserting a few of these. These are started, but they're not tightened down yet. Trying not to strip these tiny screws in this. This feels like a steel plate. These other items felt like aluminum, and this may just be powder coated steel because the clamping grip on the steel would probably be stronger than, say, aluminum. It won't flex as much, so it'll help this film seal up, keep the resin from leaking. This is not tedious at all. So hopefully you don't have to do this very often, or I can see me buying several of these vats in the future. Because this was dirty when I got it, and I cleaned it along with taking this film out, and it was a mess. Not down on this kind of printing, I'm just saying, I'm sure if any of you are running Elegoo Mars, please note how you do it in the comments, or send us, link something in the comments to your channel. And we'd love to come and see how you deal with cleaning up the vats on this, the resin tank, so to speak. Okay. Oh, I was missing a screw. It's still in the bag. I'd much rather find the one missing screw than get done and find an extra screw. So, okay. Other than tightening 50,000 screws, wasn't that bad. It was like 24 screws, I think. And they do have a stop. I'm not wrenching down on these. So one trick I teach my kids is, instead of gripping the Allen wrench like this and using all this leverage on those little bitty screws, the best thing to do is grip it by this part of the Allen wrench, because you don't have as much leverage and you're less likely to strip out or over tighten or damage these screws and threads, because you don't want to do that. I've always tried to teach them to be not ham-fisted with things. I used to work as a machinist. I was a machinist, a CNC machinist and programmer, and we used to make really delicate parts, medical implants, different products, aerospace, you name it. But the little intricate medical components were very expensive, and it was real easy to damage some of them because they were strong once they were installed in the body, but outside of the body it was easy to chip the coatings, and you just didn't want to do that. They were too expensive. It was like throwing a lot of money out the window. So you had to be careful with that stuff. So that's kind of where I learned to caution. And if there's something you guys would like to see us make on this printer, hit me up. I'm going to add my email to the About page on the channel, because I've noticed that unless you follow me on Instagram and other things, we'll probably put all that information in the About page. There's no way to email me, so it's just easier. So I'm going to create an email for this channel. That way you guys we can have discussions. Almost there. If I had some kind of electric screwdriver gun with this tip on it, that would be really nice. Whew. I wouldn't call that too tight. I mean, it's tight enough, I think. Now, let's see here. I'll trim it as close as I possibly can to this. And literally, all I'm doing is resting the blade up parallel to this and dragging it across the film, and it cuts real easy. So nothing special there. Just caution. Careful going around the corners. Just try to work the blade really slow around the corners. Please cut away from yourself. Don't ever cut towards yourself. You know, I've had some nasty razor blade cuts. I even had stitches, and that is not fun. So kids, if you're playing with this at home, please get help with your parents. You should ask them before you use this by yourself. We don't want anyone to get stitches. That is no fun, my friend. I won't bore you with stories, but having worked in machine shops a lot of my life, or performance shops, I've seen guys do some crazy stuff and cut their hands. And it is not fun. I have some good stories. I don't know how this is gonna work out, guys. I don't know. This film it's a lot easier to poke it through with an Allen wrench, FYI. So next time, note to self, holy moly. Let's just go ahead and make that happen. I'm using a smaller Allen. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I might reach through and damage those threads or something. Okay. See how it tightens up. I'm assuming it'll only go so tight with that film. There's a lip here, and it's pinching the film against it. So that may be why this burr that I was talking about earlier didn't create any problems for the other guy, okay? Because I bet this doesn't tighten all the way down inside his lip. There's a groove cut here, and these two pieces we just put back together with the film, I bet it won't fit down in there all the way because the film will keep it. Proud of that. We'll see. We're gonna find out. If we cut it wrong, we'll get some more film and do it over for you guys. We'll get some new vats and look at them off Amazon, so we'll know for next time. Dust. Oh, it is settling down a little bit. I think it's going to end up flush. Yeah, I think that's pretty close. I'll show you a picture. I'll get it up there close to the camera once I'm done here. Just kind of do a few turns, couple turns, all the way around each at a time so it settles evenly. You don't want to put anything in a bind if you can help it. Ooh, pretty tight stuff. Making me nervous. You'll know when it happens. Well, if it doesn't tear, we'll be in good shape. Okay. I don't love that. I don't know how else to do it. I didn't like stretch the film tight. It was whatever it was as it went in. And I don't really know any way that you can feasibly control it assembling this by hand like this. Unless you had some kind of fixture or a way of marking the material to insert it or cut it a certain way. Yeah, it's flush. Yeah, the screws are tightening up. I'll make them all about the same. It's gonna work out good, I think. I'll have to wipe that out. As you can see, everything kind of came out flush. Well, this is wood, it's not flat. There's one that's a little higher here, looks like. Wasn't as tight as the others. I'm just making sure. That's obviously tight. Good to go. Now, there you go, guys. So, just gonna get the dust off. I got a rag over here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, those two little counter bores or recessed areas in the top of this tray, they kind of locate it. There's a line down through here, a line where they put right there. Okay. Little alignment marks. So there you have it, my friends. And we're gonna go over setup and running something in a separate video. I just wanted to kind of go over reviving one of these that you maybe buy used from someone like I did, and kind of what it looks like, all the pieces and parts. As you could see, I just carefully looked at what I was doing, disassembled it, labeled all the screws in Ziploc bags with a Sharpie, what each piece was, where it went. And it worked out. So we'll do prints and usage in future videos. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. Like I said, if any of you guys have anything you'd like to see us print, I'm open to suggestions as long as it's nothing offensive, because I do have kids and I just want to keep it, you know, nice. So, but thanks again. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll put comments to the things we spoke about in these links in the description. And like I said, I will be adding an email to the About page on the channel so that you guys can reach out and go from there. So thanks again. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Check the description for links, and have a great week and keep making. Thanks.